you've not just eaten any of your cheese you mentioned earlier as well.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, make sure.
But
Make sure you
you
have it.
agree,
Yeah,
I think you agree that we hold stuff back, don't we?
I think we do. Yeah, I think we do. Yeah. If not all the time, at least on first impressions, we try
Mm.
to, we try our best to come across as not being. Um, some people go overboard by, pretending to or trying to portray what they're not, which is then a problem in the long run. And sometimes
Yeah.
the person, say, let me just say that the opposite, the girl would notice it and she would say, just try and be yourself, especially if she likes you. If she doesn't,
Mm.
she's formed an assumption.
It don't matter anyway. Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if she doesn't like you. If she doesn't like you, she knows she's not going to see you again. She's not intending to see you again, and she'll be trying to make every excuse to make an exit. But then if she likes you, she really likes you, and she feels like there's something she can fix, then yeah. So we do withhold, we do withhold a bit of ourselves,
Mm.
um, for some reason. I don't know, but we do, yeah.
Yeah, but and I think if you take a relationship as you just referred to, then the research suggests that for 3 to 4 months, people hold back some things and they just put on this, not put on something, but almost pretend to be something they're not. In other words, they're not affected by bad moods or bad tempers, but everything's positive and all the good sides, which we've all got, I guess.
Yeah,
But we've also got the other side where some days you get up, and although yesterday you coped with, I don't know, something that happens at breakfast, today, maybe a tiny little chemical reaction in your mind, say in the brain somewhere, and you're in a bad mood. Things annoy you and stuff like that.
yeah,
But 2 or 3, 4 months, say you're putting on that you really want to get on with this new partner. After that, researchers say or investigators say that people can't help but to show more of themselves because you're getting to know somebody, getting to know each other,
yeah,
and you will inevitably find out, you'll see little idiosyncrasies, things that sometimes might even be a bit annoying. I guess most couples in life have learned to accept things about their partner that annoy them a bit. Two human beings will always sometimes rub each other the wrong way, but if
yeah,
enough positives, then that it will move forward, hopefully. But yeah, it's all about another question: do we ever really know somebody else? Or do we, well, I suspect we go on learning about others, a partner or anybody else over time. But the other question is, do we ever really know ourselves?
yeah,
I don't know whether you think that, but one example would be the program that comes on once a year, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, which I think we talked about before, where people are sort of thrust into immediate situations of being outside their comfort zone. Now,
yeah,
lots of the cup, there's a message on this cup. I've just had my coffee from Punk, but
yeah,
quite a good cup. But you have something, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And
yeah,
there's a lot of truth in that because most of the time we're all content to stay in a safe situation whereby we're not exposing ourselves to things we would find very uncomfortable. I mean, you've mentioned you don't like flying. So I guess if you fly somewhere, you're putting yourself outside of your comfort zone. Very often we find actually things are not as bad. Indeed, they're quite good to do things like that. And if you take that program, I'm a Celebrity, comfort zone. Very often we find actually things are not as bad. Indeed, they're quite good to do things like that. And if you take that program, I'm a Celebrity, people are thrust into a situation where they actually reveal much more of themselves as they're facing situations. You think very early, they initially meet, they don't really know each other, these they know of each other because they're mostly famous, but they don't know each other personally. So it's all a little bit of nice talk, hello, how are you, and all this. But then some of them are taken up in a helicopter and confronted with being strapped to another human being and about to be thrown out of that helicopter. And you can actually see the immediacy of being much more honest about yourself, not hiding anything, the sheer anxiety, panic, fear, the sheer fear of being about to be going out of a helicopter, which you've never done before. So you're being exposed to something way outside your comfort zone. And then if you think of the rest of that program, if ever you watch it, often you're hungry. And when we get hungry, really sort of hungry, then we get a bit irritable, even on a one day. But if you're not eating much for 2 or 3 days, you can get very irritable, very touchy. And all of those things, the trials with all the snakes, the spiders being locked underground and all this stuff, it really is exposing people to their fears. And until they've done that, you think after that, so many of these people say, I learned so much about myself. But actually, it's a bit like we said the other day or the other week. How is it possible to get angry with yourself? Who exactly is angry? Who is actually mad at whom? If you're angry with yourself. And it's the same almost. I've learned a lot about myself. Well, hang on a minute. Who exactly is learning a lot about who? Because are we not ourselves? Isn't I me? Isn't that myself? How can I be learning things? Don't I know it all? And I think what that shows, in my opinion, is that we don't know ourselves until we're confronted with a situation. We don't really know how it's going to be, but we do sometimes know that some things are beyond, maybe outside our comfort zone. For example, I don't think you get me on one of the big dippers, roller coasters as they're called. The real late, I just wouldn't, because I think it would. I don't like heights anyway, particularly, but I just couldn't handle that whole thing. But maybe if I pushed myself to do it, maybe I'd say, it's great. I wish I'd done it a long time ago. But you get the point that we keep ourselves in a safe zone, really. I remember a few years ago, not many years ago, 4 or 5, I was invited to a party with someone who I knew musically.
Yeah.
And it was her, I think it was her 45th birthday, something like that. And she invited me in it, and she said, "Oh, you're the first